Hello, my name is Alex Isles and welcome back to Ad Gefrin at Yevering in Northumberland. And in today's episode I'm going to be talking about Brian Hope Taylor, who is the archaeologist who excavated Ad Gefrin right here. Now, Brian Hope Taylor is a fascinating man. He was born in 1923 and he originally trained to be an artist. His family were a family of solicitors and they had an artistic bent to them. They were very much into arts and artistic nature. In the Second World War in 1943 he joined the RAF and he actually started making models to help RAF bombers. So when they were doing practice bombing runs, he would have built the models on the ground, and he really helped with the early art of aerial photography, which was helping the RAF to figure out key targets for bombing runs and understanding of those sort of things. The early intelligence community actually had a lot of archaeologists in it, because the same sort of skills needed for aerial photography were also coming out as a new science to help to understand the landscape, and also many of them were university educated and had a different way of thinking. So when they had that, they influenced Brian Hope Taylor and they started looking around the landscape. And eventually in 1958 he came here to Yevering and he excavated the area and the landscape around here. Over 10 years he did digs around this area, from on top of the hill over here where he excavated the top of Yevering Bell, right to down here where he excavated the whole royal palace site of Ad Gefrin. When he did all of this, he actually earned a doctorate from Cambridge University and became a very skilled academic, even teaching down there at the university. He then moved up here to Northumberland, to Wooler, which is the town just slightly further down the valley in this direction. And when he moved to Wooler, he actually spent a lot of time around here, but didn't actually finish all of the write-ups of the excavations that he did. In fact, he started to get distracted and focused on East Anglian churches instead. And when he focused on East Anglian churches, a lot of his work up here in Northumberland was never ever published. And so we have to actually look at the excavations and look at his notes and some of the photographs. And thankfully that's accessible today, so that we can now go and we can have a look at those excavation reports and understand a lot of the work he did at places like Bamborough, here at Yevering, up in Doon Hill in Dunbar, and all of those other locations as well, to understand the history of these sites. Even though he didn't fully publish his work, he's still one of the great people who helped us to understand archaeology and start building up more and more of the modern techniques we see today. One of the best things about his archaeology is the drawings he did. Because of the fact that he had artistic training and artistic design, his amazing drawings of the archaeology still help us to interpret what was going on here and understand the site even to the modern day. He was also in the 1960s one of the first TV historian and archaeologists, because what he did was he combined with ITV and did a program on who were the British and the lost centuries, understanding those centuries between where we have recorded history, which has so often been called the Dark Ages but is the early Middle Ages, and understanding how that built up our story today. He'd been trained as an actor for a short period of time, so he took that into his presentation and he made the history really engaging. And in the same way, that's a sort of an inspiration for me as well. The idea of being able to take complex archaeology and history and bring it down so that anyone can enjoy it and understand it for us today. So all in all, he was quite an amazing character. He moved back down to Cambridge, where he found other academics around him to be a great comfort, and he spent a great deal of time researching and learning down in Cambridge, but sadly passed away in 2001. And so when he passed away, a lot of his work was then assessed, and people would go into his house and they would look through his old notes and stuff, and hilariously, inside of a suitcase they discovered the Bamborough sword, which was a pattern welded Anglo-Saxon sword which he had just been keeping in a briefcase inside of his house. So unfortunately maybe he wasn't as much of a purist archaeologist in some ways, and definitely wasn't following the mentality maybe of Indiana Jones of that belongs in a museum. But all the same, you know, that's absolutely fantastic that that little bit of history was then discovered, saved, and now can be seen today. But he's one of the most interesting archaeologists of this period, and gives us a real insight into this period of time of the early Middle Ages because of his hard work to excavate this site here and tell the story of this early medieval kingdom of Northumbria up here in Britain. So I really hope I brought Brian Hope Taylor to life to you. Please go away, look him up, research some of the work he did, and if you can, watch his TV shows from the 1960s, please do. A little bit outdated on the history, but his style and the way he helps you to engage with the history is just absolutely fantastic. So I really hope you get a chance to do that. In the meantime though, please do like and subscribe, and write a comment below and I'll try and answer some questions, and alongside that as well, please share the video with your friends. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you join me for another video in the near future. Until then, stay safe and well.